Hi everyone, we're back and we have, how many ladies do we have here in the house? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with me. First Lady Erica, Power Lady, Christy, Chastity Ann, and then Miss Terry Smith. Thank you all for being here. And so we're going to start with a somewhat disturbing thing that I'm going to lower the volume. You probably won't hear me talk, but this video that First Lady Erica shared with me right now, and anyway, let's just.
I was gonna say, don't blame me, y'all. Don't blame me.
Oh, well.
I don't know if this is a real animal.
The face of it looks like an anteater.
An anteater into a dog. So it just reminded me of the robot dog when you were talking about it, and that was the transgender symbol. Looks kind of like the emergency symbol.
I saw a dog similar to that when I was camping.
Oh.
And so here's the thing with this. People said, oh, she doesn't get the airtime. If you listen to the song, like, you won't think it has anything to do with this.
So this
But
is,
they say she doesn't get any airtime because she's transgender. And I was like, this has nothing to do with transgender. This looks like transhumanism.
Excellent. That's exactly
so
what.
Is it AI generated?
And at the same time, we have the DARPA dogs coming. Let me see if I can share screen here.
Yeah, she has some bats, some
show the one
cobras.
that you sent, Lady Erica, because I've been sharing some online and on Instagram, but this one is critics call this. Let me see if I can get out. How do I get out of this? Hello.
I think the other one you could probably play with sound because it's the news, so that's public, right? I don't know.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're going to Craigslist.
Yeah, this is so it's just, hold on, let me see. Critics call this, and then it says a police, you can't see, a police, forgot my glasses.
Yeah, someone has on some nice perfume.
Police robot dog is sparking. So yesterday, Firehorse sent me a link to the DARPA dogs that are in New York, because he's in New York. Oh no, it's this one.
Made their way all the way to New York, huh?
Huh?
Where were we seeing them first? Were they where were we seeing those videos of the robot dogs?
Oh, I posted a bunch on Instagram because I have been talking about this for years, and so I just put it on the Instagram thing and then on Telegram. I did talk to a DARPA agent years ago about this. Sorry. I have her in the kennel, Iris. Anyway, it's not showing up. Let me look again. And it's that what I find interesting is that I wrote a note here real quick. Is what about, I asked myself, because they can go 6.71 miles per hour if they sprint. They have a remote control. But what if there's a hacker that hacks and then goes for automatic engagement? Because supposedly the cop or whoever is in charge of this dog can't like let it go automatic. You know what I'm saying? And then they also use them for detection. I don't think it's going to show the video, but do you have it, Lady Erica? If not, I'll look it up again.
Oh, that video is, let's see, I sent it to your.
And it's also in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, New York, and then California. All the places have- So these are the robot dogs, you know, and they can hack into pretty much your equipment. They can kill you. Oh, look at how pretty it is. Let me get Lola out of her kennel. And
Oh, that was the baby.
let me see.
Today I had 3 raccoons come visit. 3 baby raccoons and their mom. I'm like, oh, okay. This is why the raccoon is coming out in the daytime. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
we
let
had
you
some raccoons.
talk because I'm gonna go.
Ooh.
One moment. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
These
they
are
got
just
the army
creepy.
here on that one. That's I don't know what happens if you get it out of the chat. It's in the chat.
I'll be back. You guys take over. Come on, Miss Power Lady. Or whoever wants to go first, I'll be back.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me skip out of this app. With it. Stephen Fenton reports some people say he should
was deployed by NYPD at the scene of a suspected hostage taking in Manhattan.
I've never seen nothing like this before in my life.
Cops say the Robo Dog can save lives by scoping out a crime scene without exposing officers to danger, but critics are calling the Robo Dog creepy and even terrifying. What was the reaction from the tenants from the fact that this dog was used here?
Disbelief, shock, curiosity. I was horrified. Some people were horrified. And some kids went up like to pet it because they're kids and they think it's a cute dog.
Some are comparing Robo Dog to an episode of Netflix's sci-fi series Black Mirror, in which robot dogs turn on humans. A local congressman had this to say.
They got military gear, and now they got robot dogs in the streets, further oppressing us. We're robots now.
New York City's police commissioner defended the robot today.
It's important to say that we did not purchase this. We have current technology such as robots. This is another option that we're in the evaluation phase, and we'll go from there.
This is a promotional video for the machine, which is called DigiDog by its maker, Boston Dynamics. Check out how strong they are. A team of robo-dogs pulls a huge truck.
I've never seen nothing like this before in my life.
DigiDogs weigh 70 pounds and can run 3.5 miles an hour.
Unbelievable.
So robot dogs, and then we have the YouTube being transhumanism, male, female on top of a dog. They're gonna hit us with everything, aren't they?
They're throwing everything at us.
Yeah, we're going into the phase of transhumanism. This is just where, this is where they've brought the mass consciousness to, and this is what they're bringing into like the normal phases or the normal waves of what our children are experiencing. And so for us, it's like, oh my gosh, we're at the age where we're like, you've got to be kidding, unless you know, unless there are some people that are more conforming and, you know, just do, you know, kind of what they're said and, or what they're told, I mean. And so there are people our age and older that will still do that, but not as many in our generation, I don't think. But our children, for sure, this is just what they're going to be raised with, and they see this and they want to be stronger, they want to be faster, they want to be you know, programmable, and they want to work with things that are programmable because it's like vacuuming's like instant gratification, right? Like, it's
Heck
clean.
yeah. I sent thank you guys, I sent the group a video on psychogenetics caused of a psychosis is fear and anxiety driven mad. Like pretty much what they did. Like if you notice, the guy's still wearing a covering. Okay, there's maybe 3 people maybe at the gym that will wear it, and I just look at him like, are you serious? In March of 2019, I told everybody it's going to be 5 you know what's. We can't say the word. And I said it's not gonna end, you know. This right now that they're trying to send, I saw it. Okay, I knew it, and I'm like, mother effers. And I even talked to, you know, my doctor about it, which I've talked about this before, like what exactly the whole thing is. And now with the weather balloons, quote unquote, there was one in Phoenix. Lady, I'm sorry, Iris, Par Lady sent that to me earlier, and I'm like, I was talking to my neighbor. She's like, yeah, it's over Phoenix, and then there's one in San Carlos, Arizona. But I'm thinking, okay, I know it's not from China. I know it's here, DOD, right? Not only are they spying on us, but I'm thinking, what does that have inside? Does it have more of the stuff that's in the thing? Or are they taking a census? I mean, just idiotic questions that I can come up with just because I know that in other words, what I'm trying to say is this psychogenetics, what they do is they'll give you like a bunch of stuff, you know, one at a time, and oh my gosh, and everybody's panicking, the food prices go up or whatever, and then there's peace. But then boom, they hit you with more. And then there's confusion. They have this propaganda where they confuse people, masses of people on purpose. So it's up to us here that are awakened. I don't really like to call it awakened, but to like not be so much on social media on our phones, just to take a break and say, okay, well, this is just personal. I can't be on social media too much. It's like I have to take time and think for myself. So the floor is open. Thank you for listening.
Well, I think the first thing that I equate that dog to is, I'll have to come back to, is RoboCop. And I'm surprised that they went through that movie instead of just straight to RoboCop. The whole idea of having something mechanical loose around children, it just seems so dangerous. And the funny thing is, people are looking at it like, oh my God. But, you know, in 2020, when we were all flapping our lips and bumping our gums and trying to tell people, like, look, a bunch of bad shit's about to happen. Like, nobody wanted to hear what we were saying, you know? But that same dog, you see how scratched up it is? That's not a brand new dog. That dog has been around for years, and they're just deciding to talk about it. I don't know how long they've been using it out in the public, but that's not new. And it's just one more thing that we've been trying to warn people about. And I was kind of surprised that the Democrat had a problem with it. But anyway, I just put my little jab in there. But I was surprised because, these are the people that's been telling us to shut up and let us just do what we've been doing when we've been trying to tell people, like, hey, no, stop. We don't want this automation. And it was really creepy that the ARCA video, I guess it was easy for people to try to defend the video because it's like, it's a special class of citizen, but I didn't really see that. All I saw was transhumanism and mechanical babies and body parts. When you go deeper into that video, there's so many body parts on the floor. There's little babies on the floor.
Oh gosh.
There's all kinds of, she's surrounded by animals. And then it's like walking.
People hanging upside down.
People hanging upside down. It's a machine walking up like in a hamster wheel type situation, and it's like showing the burden, but you're not getting anywhere. You're not going anywhere, right? You're moving and you're trapped inside this laborious climb to nowhere. There's a lot going on inside that video, and But I know one thing though, I'm not hopeless, and I'm not scared of a fucking robot dog. I'm not scared of AI art or any of that stuff, because I know the creator has a plan, and the time is up, you know? The time is up for the nonsense. And, you know, we were kind of worried about people not being awake enough, but as soon as they start to employ all these tactics and let them all out the closet, people are going to react, and they're not going to go for it. I know back in 2020, how I saw the times was this. I don't know if you watch Blade. Have you ever watched Blade? In Blade, people want to go out and party at night, and we got on our crazy outfits and we start to blend in with certain kinds of people. And then when those people get inside that club, and then they realize, like, wait a minute, these aren't costumes, these are dead people, and they are eating people. And then it's like, oh, it's too late. Like, that's how I saw life going for people. Like, it was the frog in the pot. It was nice and warm. And then when the temperature got up, the frog is boiling because it's too late. Nobody was paying attention. Now, I just kind of felt like that back then. But now I really see that they can't take us all at once. You know, it's that type of thing.
Okay, what I see kind of touches on what you're talking about, Erica. It's the veil, for lack of a better way, is being lifted. And I think that regular, normal, everyday people who aren't in this world that we are, they're starting to see these things, and they're starting to wonder, well, when did this happen? Because those dogs, those robot dogs, were tested in 2020 at Nellis Air Force Base. They actually were on the base testing those dogs. So now it's 3 years later, and they're here. Look what we've got. Well, they've been testing them, like you said, for years. And so I think that everything is coming out for people to see. These balloons, they've probably been flying over all this time. We just never paid attention. I always look at the skies. A lot of people don't. You know,
most of us are at work sweating and looking at computers, right? We were too busy to be paying attention.
And that was all part of the plan, because when I retired, I sent a girl at work a picture of the chemtrails. And she said, well, what is that? I said, those are chemtrails. She said, well, where are you? I said, I'm at home. She said, where's that sky? I said, above my house. She goes, and she told me she went around showing everyone the pictures I sent her of the sky. And they were like, they didn't know what it was. And they worked for the police department. Because you're so busy in your phone, doing your work in your cubicle, going through your procedural manual, trying to pass this training so you can get that promotion, you lose track of what's going on around us and the things that they're slipping underneath the door and they're passing. And before you know it, this is where we are now. But there is a plan. And that overall plan is to awaken those who have been in those cubicles or they're in their phones, and things are coming out for us to see. And a lot of people are appalled at the things that have happened, because they're like, well, where was I when this was going on? Oh, well, you were working. Well, where was I? Oh, I was vacationing. I was watching the cherry blossoms bloom in Washington, D.C.
Shopping.
Yeah, camping.
I'm not talking to Terry.
And I was yeah, talking to Erica. What else were we doing? But I just wanted to say the other thing is the media also has been very complacent about these things, right? People are seeing things, people are questioning, but it's not allowed out for people to discuss. And you know, like, oh, I'll tell you what, if there's a train wreck, all of a sudden everybody converges on that, but they're not looking up at the sky, or it's controlled. Oh, there's a spy balloon. But wait a minute, this has been going on before. These robo dogs have been going on all along. How come it's just now coming? And people are, yes, and it's part of, maybe it's part of that awakening program, but it's like, oh, we're seeing this now. And I you know, going back to it all, it's like, we all watched the movie The Matrix. How did it get to that point, right? that they're showing us how we got to that point where we're living now. We're in that transition period. So do we want to become, you know, all those people hooked up in the matrix living a virtual life, or do we want to take our power back now and, you know, like stop this and say, this is not right, we don't want this, and stop giving our power away to turning on the 6 o'clock news and listening to what they're telling us that we're supposed to believe.
Well, there's this issue. I don't know, Chastity, if you were about to speak.
Go ahead.
But, so like you said, the veil is lifting, and I call that compression breakthrough, where there's the inner sun and the outer sun, the light is shining so brightly. It's very hard to get things past us right now and quickly, where someone could have been around you for like 10 years and you just didn't know what quite wasn't right. And then all of a sudden it's like now somebody could be around you for a week and you're like, I see it. No, not having it, you know? So the light is shining bright and for anyone to look and see. But I think there was so much, like if I think about the 60s and 70s, it's all about activism and know this and racial inequality and job place work inequality, and everybody was busy. And then we started having so many toys to play with. You know, these new washing machines and these fancy new, you know, TVs, and now we got the new phones and the new cars. And I really get to the point where I'm wondering, like, when the fuck are they gonna stop making cars? Because you hadn't sold the ones from last year or the year before, but we're still making more cars. And I'm like, I used to wonder when I was younger, like, when is this all gonna stop? But this consumerism is a big part of what's got us complacent, not really paying attention. And then, you know, when it comes to work, yeah, I really got to the point where I said, you know, okay, I got to take an hour drive to work, and then I'm dropping off my son, take an hour drive to work for 8.5 hours, get 30 minutes for lunch. I had to take 2 Red Bulls just to stay awake because I'm on painkillers because, you know, I'm a veteran, so I got to take some painkillers. And people are like, Erica has a great attitude. I'm like, yeah, I'm high as hell. And I'm taking Red Bull. So then I come home, take an hour drive home, pass out, wake up at 9 o'clock to feed my son and tell him, oh, it's time to go to bed because he's done eating like 6 yogurts all on his own and whatever he wanted to eat. Because it's like, that's how fucking tired I am. On Friday, I go to sleep and I'm sleeping almost till Sunday. And this is what life was about. And so then, like Iris, yeah, we retired and then we got on the internet and it was like, what the hell? You know, like we were losing I had to call my mom, and my mom was like, calm down. It's okay. Your sister just went crazy last month. It's okay. Like we were all like, ah, what's going on? And so, and then, you know, we had so much to say. 2020 was the year of the mouth. And we were just like, ah, and then we kind of figured it out like, oh, calm down. Some people saw this in 2012. Some people already saw this in 2000. Just calm down, give yourself a hug, and like, kind of get into this wave where we just kind of calmly wait for people to ask us questions and know what you know and tell them when it's in a respectable time. But I'm hopeful because, you know, even people I met or I knew last year who were like, I'm taking this shot. And now they're like, I heard about these blood clots. So you're seeing the change right in front of us. We're seeing people open up. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not worried about no dogs. I'm not going to, because the creator is bigger than this. And I have a saying that's not mine, but I like to say it. Man makes plans and God laughs. Because whenever people think that they're going to foil us and trap us, they can't do it. And I want people to be extremely encouraged by it all. That you just keep powering on and doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you don't have to be affected by this. I think there's some people in North Carolina living in the Appalachians that don't own a TV and they're really happy. They're watching seeds grow and they're like doing all this, you know, they're doing whatever they're doing and they're not affected so much. You know, I do think we should be educated sometimes, and then sometimes we just have to pull back. But I'm glad that I saw this a long time ago, because otherwise I would freak the hell out. Can you imagine?
It's pretty scary for some people.
Yeah.
This is all stuff I've seen since I was a little girl. Not one little tiny bit of this is new to me. So now I'm just still, I used to try to figure out why I can't like manifest a glass of water in front of me because I want it, right? And, or, how do I'm like, I know that I should be able to shut the door from here or turn the light on. How come it's not working? And seeing demonic possessions and the things in the sky and what the movies really meant, these kinds of things. So I'm lucky that way. I'm really lucky that way. But it's a really long, lonely life. You're kind of like the weird person, the odd man out. And I went to a concert last night, and I just took a moment to look around. And the music, if you guys have never listened to Brett Dennen, listen to him. He's amazing. And I've seen him several times. But he had opened up, and the energy in the space was really sad, actually. And he opened up with a couple of his funeral songs about celebrating death, basically. And I thought, oh my gosh, somebody must have died. And they were older songs, but I had thought somebody must have died. And it kind of set the mood for the emotions that were coming through his voice. And I started thinking about everybody in that space. It turns out his father had passed away within the past week or two. And it seems as though he was really close to his father. And I just started feeling these waves come through the theater. And I started looking at people. And I went from, I wonder who has the you know what, to we're going to make it through this. Like, there's no more separation anymore. This is, like you're saying, God has a plan. And you're talking about the inner sun and the outer sun. And, when I look at how, and I'm with you, Veronica, awakening, ascension, so many of these words have been usurped, and it's unfortunate, but we can take back some of that language. We can also go into a language that is a little more melodic, and is that the right word? Melody, and has changes our vibration. And so we can go into like Aramaic words for awakening or knowing, like Yida, Y-I-D-A means to know, knowing. And, bringing back some language that actually has a colorful vibration. And so you're talking about the inner and outer sun, and how one day you just wake up. And I'm thinking about how people just walk down the street and all of a sudden they have their moment and they just know. And I think that because of all of these things that are being crammed down our throats, and it's the end of a cycle. At the end of every cycle, they have to be pretty dramatic about things, because who's gonna win? Who are they gonna get? Who are they gonna capture? Well, they weren't capturing enough souls, so they need to do this to try and get as many as they could. And guess what? God said, oh, hell no. I'm bringing it back. And so when we thought we lost people, and we've had many timeline jumps, I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. We've skipped over so many timelines, and it's because we've got those souls back. You don't get those. Those aren't yours. Sorry. And
That's right.
there is going to be a time when I was looking at everybody, and I no longer saw this person did it, this one didn't, that one didn't. And I thought, we're all coming back. Like, I think we're all coming back. And, I think that there are going to be some, that are just the way that they are. Some of them already not human anyway. Some of them by choice are going to want to really embody that transhuman sensation and feeling. And you know what? Maybe that's just what they wanted to do. Maybe that's just part of, what they chose to do. But if we keep separating ourselves. And I even think some people who transition over are going to be coming back, and you're back onto our side, right? They're going to come back over into these fields of love, and these fields of this of the knowing, of the great knowing is what I think it is. And until we can start reaching out and touching people in the sense that we are all of one race of many variations, and then we're never going to come together. We're never going to see it the way that it needs to be seen. I'm done ranting. I don't want to talk about those balloons at some point too.
Well, that was a really good rant. So the power is there to transmute anything that's happening with us. Now it's just the fact that we know how to transmute it, but we can, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right. I wanted to just touch on, I was listening to The Dark Journalist, and I think Veronica, you somebody posted it after I'd already listened to it with Gigi Young, and she's the two of them having conversations is pretty fun to listen to. But they brought up Montana, and I thought that was so curious because I used to have dreams about going to Montana. I have some family that's from Montana. My mom was born in Montana. I could have ended up in Montana, and I hear this calling, you need to go to Montana. None of my children want to come. They're like, what's in Montana? And I'm like, I don't know. It's Montana. Like, we have to be there. And they were talking about, the possibility of perhaps, there's a blending of time, and a sacred space may open there. But and I'm wondering how true that is. I've been seeing new sacred spaces opening, new gates, all these different kinds of things as we continue to shift, and the timelines are blending, and everything's just merging. So we're in alignment with time, running parallel to so many of these, time, past, present, future stuff. But it's curious. I'm wondering, it got me thinking about those balloons. And I thought, I wonder if everywhere one of those balloons was spotted in the United States, at least, that if that isn't where something really important actually is. And it could be hidden by some of these holograms that we can't see. It could be still in blended time that we haven't, it hasn't vibrated into the presence yet. And they also brought up how lands will come out of the waters. I've seen that in my dreams. I mean, how many of us have seen that? And so
I have many times.
Yeah, I mean, we're into we're going towards some pretty crazy things. So they're not going to get souls. They're not going to recruit soul embodied people to go and be part of their destruction. They have to have a transhuman human. They have to have that. They're gaining as many of their soldiers that they can in order to create their chaos, I think.
Yeah,
So.
I've talked about this many times. Chad Cooper and we did a video last year also, and he was seeing all the land rising as well. The guy from Mud Fossil Field talks about it. I've had many visions back in 2017 about the animals and the people coming out from the flood, which is actually an ocean of I was like, is it going to be in California or New York? And then I was thinking Nevada, Las Vegas as well. But for years since I was like a little girl, they've been talking about, oh well, oceanfront property in Arizona, California is going to be down, whatever. But the important, also another important thing that they talked about was thought forms. And that's why, yes, I did share it on the group, because I thought it was important for people to understand how thought forms can be fed, and they can live to 2,000 years, 1,000 to 2,000 years. So it's like, what are you feeding? And the thing that they feed here is heaven and earth. Well, I've been in hell, and I've been in heaven. They feed, hell and heaven. And I'm like, those are holding chambers, and I'm not going there. I There was another question, Power Lady, I don't know if you want to say anything, but Valerie, hi Valerie, if you're watching, she was asking like, what's the difference between a portal and a wormhole? Well, the wormhole, if you look at the movie Interstellar, I know I'm talking about all this stuff, but I just have to get it out real quick. Wormholes go to like other dimensions, like other universes, galaxies and things like that. And then portal, it's a door, could be a door to many doors, you know, and it could be here in the US, or it could be in another planet. I could be here and then in Saturn at the same time. But I got this card right now, and it's about time. It's about time to go within. It's about time to figure out what you want to do, because a lot of you guys are going to go for this thing and that thing, and you know, that thing and these things, you know, the transhumanism thing, the robot body, the black goo that Power Lady and I were talking a lot about this the other day. It's like the black goo in people, all these the thought forms again. It's like the puppet masters are here. It's like, are you gonna belong to one of these strings? And which master are you gonna serve? There's more than two masters. Okay. It's just the chess game they play here. So, and this whole thing about being one, I do get it, but I have a hard time with that because I come from Andromeda and from other places. You know, we are stars. We've been everywhere. So right now we're here on Earth because we came to help Earthlings. Okay. When we go back, I go back home. I don't go back to heaven to the one God. I don't do that because I don't believe in that. The emerald tablets and the one, no. To me, the one is all of us together. And I've talked about it before, like it's like a little, you know, chip that you put on your, like we'll say a little hard drive, little tiny one, little flip drive. And we're part of like the big computer, or we're part of a big crystal and we fall. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to stay away as much as possible about the one God thing, because that's also part of the New Age movement. But I do get it that we're part of something bigger than us, you know, because I don't like to call myself higher self. I like to call myself inner self and my alters, because I always ask me for help. Not
and isn't that a
gods.
one?
Go ahead.
Isn't that a oneness? Aren't you like a oneness with yourself? Because you have these different
kind of like a
pieces to
oneness.
them back, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's just I really have a hard time because of all. I guess I have what they call religion PTSD. What do they call that? I've been in church all my life. First Catholic, then Christian, and then Buddhism, and then Hare Krishna, and then all kinds of stuff that I went through. All of them taught me something, but I'm just very adamant about that we cannot give our power away. That's all I'm saying. I just won't bend the knee to anything that's outside of me. Like, for instance, this transhumanism stuff. That's just me though.
I'm prone to this thought of Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Yes.
And so Ralph has to play the bad guy in the game. And he ends up going to Bad Guys Anonymous because when the game is over, nobody wants to hang out with me and they treat me like a dirtbag. But if I wasn't the bad guy in this game, there would be no game. And I love that Zombie said to him, like, Ralph, you're a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy. Like, I just feel like when they flip the switch in the game, this game is over, how important are our roles or the things that we kind of get hung up on? Like, a lot of things that we think are important aren't going to be important. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you say, you're Andromedan. So I don't know where we go back to, like, you know, do you have a suit somewhere that you go back to, or what will you elect to do or be after this? But a lot of the things, kind of like what you're saying at this concert 2 years ago, you'd have been like, hell no, I'm not going, because for me, people were sparking off my menstrual cycle. I was like, wait a minute, I'm born with a certain amount of eggs. I might want to use some more of these eggs. And I got people, I'm popping off eggs every 10 days because being around certain people is causing these things to happen. People, you know, but the 2-year mark for the drama is up, right? These cycles come, and every 2 years they got to not for a 2-year period of time, they blow us away with, you know, some type of we're all gonna die nonsense where they're, you know, trying to scare the hell out of us and or ramble us up. And it's like, okay, we got you. We made it through that 2 years. But even some of these
now we have the climate change and Robo Dogs.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not, it won't be this intensity. You know what I'm saying? That intensity of the 2-year trial that we've been on, we've been tried and trusted for 2 years.
I think it's 3 now.
It's 3, but their little 2-year mark is up. You know, like there's a certain amount of time that in between every one of these scares, like Ebola. I remember Ebola. I had to go collect blood for that. So now we can settle down and now too, like I don't have to be so mad at my mom for doing whatever it was that she did, and I don't have to be so, you know, I don't have to listen to people tell me, you know, who did you vote for? You know, this little, we get a little break from the pressure of that, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we can be friends again. You know, like some of us are like, okay, maybe you're not such an asshole as you were. 2020, we was lit. It was lit. Everybody had something to say, and it's like, okay, let's just be friends.
Miss Power Lady, I know you want to say something, and then we keep interrupting.
No, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Totally did.
Maybe it's about the bad guys. The bad guys aren't so bad, or what we thought were bad guys weren't so bad. I don't know.
Well, the way that I see things, which I've begun to see things, is, you know, the thing, what goes up must come down. What is here is there. You know, all these different laws. Up is a certain height for everyone. When is it determined that it's time to go down? Just like right for you may be wrong for me. You know, I was raised different. I have a different culture. So where I'm raised, I could do this up to number 10, but where you were raised, you can only do it up to number 5. But the way I was raised, it was the right way. So what's wrong to someone is right to someone else. So there is a balance that we just have to accept people for who they are. I'm not saying they have to come over my house to eat. I don't have to go pick them up. I don't have to chill with them or anything. But if that's the way you are, then you do you. But I'm not going to stalk you. I'm not going to keep you from being you. But that's the way you are. And that's okay. Because I found myself wasting a lot of time, energy, and drama trying to explain that this, let me give you for example. Before Cain and Abel, there were other people. But you have to read in between the lines to understand that. But the preacher's not preaching that. So I got to the point where I was arguing and talking to people and trying to explain the things that I knew and what I found out, because they weren't having it. And these are like my 2 sisters. So I got to the point where I just accepted them for the way they are. And if we do things together, that's good. If not, that's fine too. But I stopped wasting energy and time at people who weren't deserving of it. Because there are people who say, you were talking about that Cain and Abel thing, and I looked it up and you were right. Is there anything else you can tell me? Those people, they'll get my time. I
want to add to that because and it isn't even really like, do they deserve your time? You can't feed babies steak. you let babies grow up. They get a little milk, then you might add a little bit of rice, a little bit of potatoes. And for some reason, people felt like I gotta wake people up, and nobody told you had that job. We just kind of thought this is what your job was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then where's your job? I see people do things like this. Where we're at with, like, say, Veronica, and then there's Christmas, for instance. We know a lot about Christmas and what it really is and what it really isn't. I don't have to shit on your Christmas and write memes and say nasty things and be like, I saw a man write a book called Fuck Jesus. This is unnecessary.
I agree.
Because you want to be right so bad that you got to trample somebody else for thinking whatever it is that they're thinking. Let them have it. Because guess what? If you know what you know and none of that is true and none of that is real, how is it really hurting them?
Well, they don't know.
Oh, his name is not even real. It's Joshua. Then it's like, let him have it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Let me finish doing what I was. Let him have it. Because how is that really going to destroy them? And then maybe, like, as time with all those clocks, look at that clock. I wanted to find that clock card. I bet all those clock cards had a different time on it. She got a time. She got a time. She got a time. We got different times.
Yeah.
That one, maybe no, but they're different clock, different time. And the same way we want to rush somebody in 2020 is the same way somebody in 2012 was freaking the hell out. The same way 1999 people was freaking out, and 1918 people was freaking out. Oh my God, the world is coming to an end. And then we still here.
Yeah.
And nobody slipped off I see people argue about the dumbest thing. Honestly, I can look at some flat earth stuff or not, but guess what? Long as I'm not in danger of falling off the planet, I really don't give a damn if it's a flat earth or not. I'm still here. My house is still here. We're good. Are we falling off? No.
That's exactly, Lady Erica. That's First Lady Erica. That's, I tell people, look outside your window. Is the military here bombing your place? Like, is there a bird? What? You know, are you safe? Okay, then chill.
Calm down. Yeah, calm down.
It's like, calm down. But I think everybody wakes up at different times. And then, yeah, you're right. Like, I have a friend that he's been awake since 1989. And I was over here freaking out in 2017. He's like, calm down. I'm like, okay.
It's like, girl, you just getting out of bed. I've been up since 4 a.m. and you waking up at noon. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's her.
You late to the party.
Girl.
You're late to the party.
I'm cashing that check.
Yeah, almost out of drinks, and you coming on talking about we ready to party. Like,
it's like, where are the steaks and the barbecue ribs, dude? You're like, you're too late. We ate it all, and the dog's got the leftovers.
Yeah.
But real quick, let me just get it off my chest. The sun. It's pretty much, this is time to acknowledge and celebrate what makes you brilliant. So the sun brings warmth and potential for growth, and new patterns and habits are cultivated. So we gotta go get our sun codes, right? But
this sounds like exactly what we're talking about. Like, it's just time to flourish and just be happy, just relax, you know, just
I agree.
enjoy. It's time to enjoy. Enjoy
the spring. It's springtime, right? It's new life. It's coming to new life.
The sap is up.
Forward.
My mom always says the sap is up. Right?
Yeah.
So sorry. So when I wrote down 2030, and then Chastity Angie's like 2030 sustainable Earth, and I'm laughing because I'm over here like the dread and gloom when, you know, I posted this thing, you know, this guy's talking to this other guy, by 2030, you'll be able to read my mind and feel everything that you feel. And I'm like, not me. And by that time we won't have any phones. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm telepathic. I don't need to be chipped in the brain to feel how you feel and read your mind. You know what I'm saying? And this is the whole thing within transhumanism. Those people that have chosen, that's the way they're gonna be.
Yeah, and who knows? They're creating something new. What will it be? I don't know. It ain't gonna be me though, but you know, you do that thing. If you want to put in, you know, RFID chips in your hand and try that out just because you think it's cool to unlock your door with a chip. I mean, that's you.
Pay for your food, right?
Yeah, you want to pay for your food. You want to go to the new Amazon kiosk with your wrist. Hey, I'll order mine online. I'm good.
Miss Terry Smith, anything you'd like to say?
Well, actually, no. I'm just enjoying everybody's comments here, but it's just I think we just need to be in that space of our own power and our own decision making, right? And stand for that is like, no, I'm not gonna get the chip, just like I didn't get something in my, and so we just say no, you know, like that was a you know, like say no. And we have that power to just do that. And the more of us who say no, then you know, then the stronger we are. And it only takes, you know, it for the people that are awake, there's 5,000 that are asleep. But so one person is stronger than those other 5,000 sheep. So when we say no, then it affects someone else, and then we become such a powerful force. And we have a tendency to forget that our one voice is stronger, because it's a squeaky wheel that gets the grease. And how many people just let things go, but it's the one person who stands up, and we know that. And so when you just say no, you say no.
I love that. I was out with my girlfriends years ago, and they actually stopped me from talking and said, "Can you just be normal for 5 minutes?" This is normal.
I'm glad you brought it up, because the other day my daughter and her boyfriend took me out for brunch. I was so happy because I love that place where I go. First Watch is one of my favorite places, or Jerry Bob's, or you know, Trident, but I hadn't been to First Watch for a long time, and I'm like, well, let's go. And then here I am telling myself, be normal, like try and talk about things on the surface. And I even told them, because I was over here telling them how people are not ready to stand in their nakedness, right? I've spoken about this before, where maybe you're in a dream and you're naked and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then you start covering yourself. But when you're ready to stand naked in your own presence, it's not sexual, it's powerful. But a lot of people in the communities are not, they're hiding still. They can't stand on their own. I was talking to Power Lady about this last week. People will come to me telling me, I need help. Listen to me. This person did that to me, and that person. Okay, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do a video and say the names out loud. Let the people know, right? But no, they're not ready. Then they start going through paranoia. Oh my gosh, what if they find out don't you want people to know the truth about what happened? They're not ready. They just come back and they're like, oh no, can you get rid of the video? You're not ready. So I was telling my daughter and her boyfriend this, and then I said, I practiced before seeing you guys that I was not going to talk about this. You know, I was trying to just talk about surface stuff, and they just both looked at me and they're like, we know you can't, and it's okay. We would never expect you to do it. Like, thanks, man. No, I cannot be normal. What is normal anyway?
Yeah, there's no normal. We're each our own normal, I suppose, is how that goes. Yeah.
Well, that's why we get into pets and stuff. We start talking about our cat or something. We start talking about raccoons. Like, I got these raccoons in my yard. Since we can't talk about anything else, we're gonna talk about these raccoons. or the azaleas or the seeds that you just planted. And I think that's it too, because we have to find those things that bring joy. Like in that pet group, I had someone tell me that they were like, thank God for this, because this was the only sunlight that they had was the things about pets, because everything else is so bleak to them. And like, yeah, we got to find some things. Like now we started doing craft night and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about some beading. I don't know if we slipped into some serious talk. I don't think we did. We kind of kept it light, and it was like, oh, we're going to learn how to be happy, because that's what we got to do, right? Is anchor in the happiness and the joy. So we got to find things that make us happy so we can keep bringing this light in. Because I guess if all we can focus on is all the things that are going wrong, then we're not doing our job, that's our number one job, right? And so I'm happy. Are you guys happy? No. You ladies look happy, even though we ball crush and we talk about some serious stuff all the time, but I think we're doing our job. And I thought about that, like, what if that was the only thing you had to do to change the whole world was for you to just be good?
That is all you have to do, First Lady Erica. You change your world and the world changes. You change how you see the world and the world you see changes. We are so powerful and so creative. And it's with like-minded people. This is a beautiful roundtable.
Yeah.
Look at how beautiful we are, and look at the beauty we're creating here. This I mean, it's incredible. It feels good. It looks good. It smells good. I think, were you just saying someone's wearing some perfume? I don't know. I don't know, but you know, when you get these beautiful subharmonic strings and this harmony, we start harmonizing. We smell a certain way. We feel a certain way. We begin to look a certain way. The conversation elevates and changes. It elevates and changes. And it's just like, I love it. I absolutely love it. And these are the kinds of things we want to create and the kinds of communities we want to create. And, you know, hopefully bring this idea back into the real world. So back into a little community, you know, back into our own homes, you know, whether you're crafting or beading or, you know, let's just go back to like cookie exchanges or something, pie exchanges, whatever.
You got my attention on cookies. So
well, it's all about creating, is that community generates what we need, right? And so as a community here, as we talk, then it creates a specific niche that we want to talk about more things, and then people gather because this is what they want to hear. We're not being told that this is what we have to listen to. We're creating an atmosphere to bring it together, and there's a harmony, and our frequencies are making a beautiful sound. And so then it attracts other people, and they say, oh, I like to listen to what they're saying because I can relate to that. And maybe my experiences were different, but there's something familiar about it. And so that's what brings us together as a community, listening to what other people are saying and experiencing.
Mm-hmm. And like Veronica said, stand in your power. I think that's really what you were saying, Veronica. Stand in your power, stand in your knowing, your yida, and just be you, and allow that to be what shines through. So many of us have spent too much time being something somebody else wants us to be. And whether that be in a relationship, or it be because you think you have to parent a certain way, or, you know, you have to be one way with this group or this another way with this group, just forget it. Just be who you are. And, you know, you'll find where your happiness is, I think, in that space. Don't be afraid to be who you are and be naked, like you say, Veronica. It's very, very strong. It's like the armor of God. When you're naked, you're wearing the armor of God. You can't, that's indestructible.
like to say this too. I think the things that have separated us in the last couple of years, the sad part is each person, like everybody has their side. They all really thought that they were doing the right thing. That's the thing that we do have in common is we disagree strongly, but we really do believe that my way is right and that I'm doing this for everyone, that I'm helping, or that this is what's right. And that really helped me break from being extremely dramatic and critical of what was going on. I'm still critical. I still, I still struggling, but but for the most part, it helped me like, whoo, you can calm down a little bit, Everybody put their guns down,
I had went through that with my sisters over the past couple of years because I was very quick to tell them, well, this is what's going on. This is how it's going to go down. And this is what you need to do. Well, they didn't listen to anything I said, and they did what
they wanted.
The government told them to do. And they did it all behind my back. So when I did find out that they did their thing, I was like, why didn't you tell me? Oh, because I knew you were against it and you would start saying this and saying that. I said, anytime I tell you anything, it's because I've researched. I don't just go off ad hoc. I said, I either feel it, dreamt it, had a vision of it, I researched it. And I said, so when I tell you something, it's just not something I made up. Now my two sisters, they're going through some things that they keep from me. I found that, I find out, what do you mean they had to take 12 vials of blood? Slip and told me that, because they're having tests done. But I hope that going through this, they will see that when I say something, because for one thing, I'm the oldest. When I say something, I know I have some type of responsibility, to give them the right information. What they do with it is up to them. But I tell them, I give it to them. And they still, these are my sisters, they still didn't listen to them. I didn't see them for the holidays. I had my sister come and visit me one time during that 2-year period and stood in the driveway. And I went, hey, how you doing? And she backed up. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, well, you're not. Well, I said, what? I said, I knew you before you were born, because I'm older than her. But that's how things were going.
Wow. The funny part is, here you are normally as the person who's reliable. You come to me when you want to talk about your mortgage, when you want to talk about your taxes, when you want to talk about travel. Then you're like, we're the people that you come to, right? Like, no, these are the no nonsense people. Now the no nonsense people are just out of their mind. They just crazy. It's like, no advice from you. And it's like, wow, haven't you not trusted me for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? However long people, thought you were E.F. Hutton in the past, but then all of a sudden it was so funny how extremely non-credible we can become, right? Just on one decision, in one area.
You are on point about that. I went to many places and they'll say, well, this is what you have to do. I said, well, I don't have to come to your business. And I didn't. I did that a lot. I got to the point where the things that were going on, they didn't affect me. It's like, taking your power back. This is my world. And I did not allow that stuff to enter my world. So I continued on being the person I always had been. And it was kind of like that didn't affect me. Now, grocery shopping, I had to. But other than that,
I ordered online, Power Lady, bag it. I shut my whole practice down. By trade, I'm a massage therapist. And then I do energy healing as well. But I went all online. I shut it all down. I refused All of that, I refused all of this. I mean, they were taking temperatures. We were supposed to do all this stuff. I said, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that. And then I had started seeing people in my own home, only a couple people I trusted. And after the, I got a whole blood backup in my leg. And so that's when I started hearing medical terms through my intuition. Medical terms, I didn't know what they were. I had to look them up because I was like, here's what's happening to this person. Here's what's going through your body. I mean, I was seeing everything and I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And so, before it was same thing as you did, telling everybody, don't do it, don't do this. Let me tell you what's happening. Then they don't listen to you. And then, it's like, I can't believe it. But I also think, I think you were putting in here, Veronica, I know you want to say something, but are we allowed to talk on can we say the BG, the black stuff? Are we allowed to talk about that?
The GO, they're saying we can't say medical
GO?
stuff, supposedly that we can't say the.
Okay, so yeah, that's interesting, but
you can type it.
Yeah.
We can
I'll just say the black goo instead of the GO.
yeah, the black goo. There's a guy that does a whole talk on this, and he's been tracking that for a long time, but there's two different kinds. There's the kind you actually get in your body, and then there's an etheric one.
The shedding.
That's a shedding. That's a type of shedding. But that you also get it through, I believe, this. And then there's an etheric one that is actually, I think has taken people out completely. So be careful out there. That's maybe something we can have another talk about sometime, about like possession and protection and stuff.
Well, that's one of the things that I told people to not get the thing, because I saw parasites, like entities that wanted to go into to live in the person.
Oh yeah, it's powerful.
And I told them about that, and that's one of the ways they can travel, because they're micro.
Yeah.
And I have a friend also in Canada, Lindsay. She the MMA fighter. She's been through a lot too. She was saying that she experienced a lot of shedding.
Yeah.
And she sent me this. She sent me pine oil, and then she sent me 144,000. She named it because it has frankincense, myrrh, and something else. I can't read it any longer, but she sent it all the way from Canada. And I put it on myself, or my Lola or my cats or my kids when they come. It's like if they're having a really hard time with these energy vampires or I have a really hard time, especially when I'm trying to sleep. The words, they come at me and they say, oh, you're not going to make it, or we're going to go after your kid, or we're going to, and I still wear my beanie hat. It has like the nickel inside it, but it's really hard when you're psychic and when you have these, I don't know if you guys go through the same thing, but it's when you know a lot of stuff and you have to tell the people, you know what I'm saying? Like we're doing here, it's at night, I get attacked all the time. That's why I hardly sleep. I'll be talking to them at night, just telling them, leave me alone. I return you to sender, breaking contracts. Anytime I have dreams, like just this past week, I was telling Power Lady that, again, this is like the fourth dream that I have of somebody marrying me. And this time I was looking at, and I had a beautiful wedding gown, and just beautiful. And when he put a ring on here, and he put a ring on here. This one was silver, this one was gold, and it had dirt. And I'm like, did he dig me up, or did he dig up the ring, or what? So when I cleared it like that, It was a gold band, and he said, "This is for us, for you marrying me, and this one, the silver one, is for all the kids that you'll bear from me." I'm like, hell no! I started cutting contracts, anything, any mirrors, copies, anything that, because in my dreams, in the astros, where they like to attack. Last night, I forgot to write this down. I just remembered they had me be with a female, that I was supposed to marry a female, and her brother was there, and I'm like, no. And I woke up rebuking contracts. I'm like, I will not marry these ETs, will say, or humans with technology, because that's what the GODs are, the demiurges are. They're just humans like us, but they have the technology. They've gone transhuman. They've gone further than transhuman. Okay. And that's why they call them gods. They've sold themselves out. And
so maybe we have to take back the term. Instead of transhuman, maybe we just have to take back the term of humanism. And, just across the board, we're all humanists. Doesn't matter. We're humans, and take that power back.
We're humans right now, but when we go to sleep, we're bioluminescence. We can be wherever we want to be and see. We live many lives here already. And a lot of people say, I do agree though, Terry, we got to take our humanism back when we're here awake in the 3D and all that. And even in our dreams, it's like, we could be in whatever form we want in our dreams. Shoot, I was going to say something. May I have my channel back, please? But anyway, let me just read this card, and then I gotta let her out again because I put her in there. It's the Tower. This is exactly what we're talking about. And it's right side up. So if you it's already leaning. So it's in a balance, kind of like if you tip it off a little more, boom, it'll fall. So right now, I'll just read what it says here. That which you have built to protect yourself may be the very thing that ultimately crushes you. In the broadest sense, a revolt has occurred. An old institution can no longer stand. I'll be back, guys.
I think, see what she just said, the thing that you built to protect yourself is the thing that is actually destroying you. And just before she said that, I wanted to just speak on the law of allowing and the law of compassion. And when we start going back to our heart and the law of compassion, because we've been afraid to lend our heart out during this time, because our feelings have been very, very hurt. We've been rejected by our family members because they don't listen. No, people just we were trying to, I asked my cousin, I said, why did you do this thing? And he said, Erica, you throwing credentials from the FDA because you trust the government, who's constantly recalling stuff anyway. And I was like, my feelings are hurt. I'm talking to you because I love you. That's the part. And so while you're throwing government numbers at me, I'm talking about, I'm concerned. You got kidney failure. You got this problem. You got that problem. I love you. And so I think we all kind of forgot, no, we love each other. And that's why it hurts so much when I'm saying this and you're saying that, and we're not seeing eye to eye. But we've really built up some really hard walls where if this person did that, or they have this opinion or this idea, cut them off. And so maybe we can't really function together. Maybe it's not always in our best interest for us to play together, but still we have to go back to compassion, because what's going to happen, we're going to be the one that loses by trying to protect our little feelings from getting hurt. And it's okay if we had to cry and be hurt, but to also get past it and to go back to compassion and love for one another, that's so much more important than being right, it's like you could be right or you could be
Well, Erica, you are right. Because after the years of what's happening with my two sisters, my youngest one, she contacted me last Wednesday. She called me, we were just talking. And then we went to the buffet. It's a seafood buffet.
Oh boy.
at the Palms Hotel.
Almost made a black joke. Black people in seafood, but I won't do it. You want to get some black people together?
I was there. Yeah, we already spent about 4 or 5 hours there, and then she brought me back home. We talked. I played my little raggedy $10 in the slot machine. Didn't win nothing. They tried to make me think I won something. You know, they give you $5 back, and then they take 10. You know, you're reaching in for more. But I had an enjoyable evening with her. We laughed and talked. We haven't done that in the past 3 years because of all the stuff that was going on. And she had that fear of it because she had once told me, she said, "You're just all in the open doing this and not wearing this." And I said, "And you're hugging people, speaking to everybody." I said, "Well, they speak to me, you know, because I get children that run up to me all the time, or people I don't know. They're like, they ask me questions, and she's like, "People are always talking to you." I said, "Well, that's they feel my energy." "What do you mean your energy?" I'm like, my sister, she goes, "I get it, Iris," but she's obviously progressed past that to the point that she invited me. We had a very good dinner, and I ate as much lobster, crab. I ate as much as I could, you know. So it was an enjoyable. All to say, there comes a point in time where they realize that, you know, maybe I was wrong, or maybe I should have listened, or maybe there's more to what she's saying or what they're saying than I would allow earlier. So you're right, Erica.
I think of it as being Christ-like. Like when I think about being Christ-like or being an example, like we had to really prove to people, like, guess what? Look, this is my superpower. I can just be me and look, I'm okay. I was not afraid. And so I have to show people not to be afraid. I have to show people, oh my God, you can live a magnificent life. You need to ask for the things that you want. Oh, you can manifest and stuff like that. Like that's what we're here for, to actually show people, like, no, life is not, you're not here to actually suffer. You're actually here to win. You're actually here to be happy. You're actually here to create and be magnificent. And you already are. You just don't know it. And so let me show you, you know. Now go home and tell your mom that you're 9 million years old and that you're an alien, and that's why you never did any damn thing that she told you to do. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm 9 million years old. That's why we don't get along, okay? You understand that? That you was raising an alien? Like, and they looked at me like, what are you gonna say to me? Leave me alone. I'm 9 million years old. Like, stop it.
That's so great. I want to touch on that fear piece you just mentioned, and this goes back into, you know, bringing us full circle with this whole agenda. And this particular is intelligent. It's intelligent, and you can watch it think. It thinks and it hunts. And then it goes in for the kill, and it's not a soft kill either. It goes in. And this is part of, if we're not embodied, if we're not standing in our light, or our 0 point, our sun center, our whatever you want to call it, your Christ being, your connection to source, you being connected to yourself, however it is, it will find a weakness and it will knock you down to your knees. Because if there's a little tiny bit of fear left in you, it will attack it, and you will be haunted with, how come you don't just do this? Do you remember when this happened? How about da 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 da? And the thing is, because I think we're lucky because we have a our super sensible organ heightened. We use it, we understand it, we know it. So this is interesting because I was just sitting here minding my own business, just minding my own business. And this thought floated by. I am not joking you. And it was it's a thought. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Let me put it in here. Am I allowed to say that?
The thought form?
Yeah, the thought form was this.
Oh, when you take your life. Yeah. Oh, believe
okay.
me, they throw that one at me all the time, and I'm like, I've already been there. Ain't
oh
gonna
my gosh.
work.
The thing is, what it's doing is when you have that lower form vibration of playing video games or being afraid of X, Y, and Z, it can be anything. This particular taking your life is, I think it's called unliving, you're supposed to say, something like that. But anyway, it literally was a thought form that came by. I saw it in its wave pattern. And what happens when that lands on somebody? And that goes into the thought forms we're talking about, because thoughts are things, and we have to be responsible co-creators. That means when we think something and it was like not a good thing to think, well, we best be cleaning that up in a heartbeat, because that will float right onto somebody. You could be thinking really nasty thoughts about somebody, and somebody will walk by, pick that right up. And I have this conversation with a really good friend of mine. Often, we've talked about this several times, and this is where some of these thoughts of just mass shootings or whatever happen, they just pump it right out there, and then someone picks it up. There you go. That's a thought form that'll last for 2,000
Yeah,
years.
speaking of that, Power Lady and I have a inside joke about that one. You sent me that thing about that person. Oh, we'll talk offline. But anyway, thank you for that. So many times I have to say, I clear this thought, or lately I've been saying clear cache thrice, or I return it to sender with conscience attached. Sometimes I literally have to write it down and say, I do not consent. I cut all ties with this thought form, because that thought form, it could be here 1,000 years, 100 years, and it wants to keep feeding off of your energy. So it's very important. Yes. What kind of video games are you playing? What kind of movies are you watching? That one time that I decided to go watch that stupid movie, The Nun, never again. I had to clear everything when I got home, because it was horrible. Those are thought forms that exist through the eyes. What are you watching? Huh?
It was in a movie theater?
Yeah, I was in a movie theater called The Nun when it first came out.
Oh, not cocaine beer. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the world.
You're so funny. Sorry, you made me laugh when you said that you were drinking 2 Red Bulls in your medicine. Dude, when I was a cop, I was on Adderall because they said, oh, you have ADHD. I'm like, you don't know what I got, And then I drink my Monster and my coffee, and I'm like, fuck, I got to work 2 shifts. Then there's people with throwing axes and, fighting with knives. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. I have to stay another hour or 2. It's like, damn, I don't know how we survive with all that stuff.
Girl, once we made it past that finish line, you can't go back. There's no way I can go back up in the building. I can't go back in the building. They wouldn't get a lick of work out of me. They'd be like, can you get from the front desk, please? Can you go in the back? Like girl, I'm no good for anybody's job at this point.
Oh my gosh. Who has to go? Oh, Miss Terry.
I have another engagement, so I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure to take part in this discussion with you lovely ladies, and I'll look forward to seeing you again one day soon. So thank you, and thank you, beautiful Veronica. It's been a pleasure, and to the listening audience, it's been great to spend some time with you.
I know.
Have a wonderful evening.
And I'll write down your information so people can get a hold of your Akashic readings, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Terry.
Bye-bye.
Miss Parley,
See,
back
Wendy,
to
laugh
you.
night, we will make jokes and laugh all night. We're gonna make sure that we laugh. See, there you go.
Well, like when Chastity mentioned that thought form that just creeped across. When I see, I say, well, where did that come from? I said, that's not my thought. And I said, and I talk to it like I'm talking to a person. I said, oh no. I said, I have nothing to do with that. And I send you back to whatever nefarious person being sent you to me. I said, because you don't belong to me. So you need to go. And I just, have this whole line that I say. But when those random thoughts just pop up or they go across our path, we have to, I'm not saying acknowledge them, but we need to let them know that we do not accept them and they cannot cross our path. And we cancel them right then, because I'll get them and I think everything's going good with me. I enjoy my life. So why would something like that go by? So like Barney Fife said, you got to nip it in the bud.
Yeah, there is one of my favorite quotes. I used to say it all the time, the Bible quotes, because believe me, I do agree with a lot of some things in the Bible. I used to say this a lot. Shoot, come on. Maybe I don't remember the words quite, but I pretty much lasso you in thought form. I tie you up and I put you in the bottom of my feet and I stomple on you, but it's more like something, the thoughts of my mind, lassoing them and bringing them down to my feet. And then just like, I gotta find it. I think it's in Ephesians, but it's about the thought forms, and that helps me a lot. Like, and then also what I'll envision is I'll lasso like Wonder Woman. Tell me the truth, B. Tell me the truth. Like, you can't lie to me. I got you now. Kind of a thing. Bringing all thoughts captured. Anyway, I'll find it right now. But as far as Our Lady, what you were saying about your sister too, like my sisters too, and we've talked before, but it was rough, yeah, because they couldn't even hug you or kiss you, and all this stuff, was going around, and it's like if you were the infection. I don't even know if I can say that word. Like if I was, like if there was something wrong with me, that they couldn't touch me or come near me, or girl, you are muted.
And we were clearly in reverse, and I was like, wait a minute, she wouldn't hug you. I thought you wouldn't hug her.
Oh no, they wouldn't hug me. I was like,
I know, you're the one making me sick. What are you talking about, girl?
Yeah, you're right. You couldn't touch them, couldn't hug them, all of the above. And I didn't get sick the whole time.
Me either.
Not once.
That's right.
That's because everybody else took the hit for y'all.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, Chastity.
Yep. And we kept protecting them always. And they didn't know.
My ex-spouse hair fell out and everything. And I said, you think it's because? No, it wasn't because of that. No, that's not what happened. And I was like, you got bald spots in your head.
Yeah, like I was telling you that girl at the gym, I was like, you're still wearing that thing, the cover. Yeah, it's because my hair started. Because she said her hair started falling off in clumps. I think I told you guys this already, but it's like it's the radiation.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that though. That's not what caused it.
It was just by chance.
No.
Put in the chat.
No. I got scratched by a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Something had nothing to do with that.
We're gonna do the upside down King of Chalice. Let's see what this baby boy wants to tell us. The king in reverse represents emotional abuse and manipulation. Damn. He warns of someone in your life who is selfish. temperamental and vindictive. Damn. Well, let's see. I got a list right here.
I think they're talking about the corporation.
Right? Yeah. This
What
individual
else
may
though?
be, huh?
You know what else though? The vindictive part. This is what I was telling people. Sometimes people, normal conversation we might have, it's okay. But then one day I say something and all of a sudden you punch me in my face. And it's like, wait a minute, you didn't just punch me because of what I said today. You've been building up something that you had against me. Same thing with that situation. Sometimes people are already like jealous or they have something.
Yes.
And a lot of people use that as a reason to. One lady made her husband sleep downstairs in the basement with the washing machine and wear all this stuff, a hazmat suit. And I said, your wife don't like you. That it is not because of this. It's because she don't like you. So she found a good little reason to be like, take your ass downstairs. This one lady, she was like, why is my neighbor? She won't even speak to me. And they act like this. I said, she don't like you. They already don't like you. Like there's already something scratching on the roof of their mouth. And they was like, oh, this is the perfect excuse for me to be like, poof, be gone. Where, yeah, I feel so in some of these cases, I don't think it was strictly that. I think that was an excuse, like to be vindictive, you see?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I don't know if I should say this, but two of my family members ruined my birthday. And so this month I didn't go to that person's birthday. And I blocked her and I don't want to talk to the other person yet. I'm not ready. And I've noticed that when it comes around the issue of money or well, Power Lady, you know the story. I'll tell you guys offline after, but it's
And can you imagine going through the whole trouble of telling one person to not come to a Thanksgiving or Christmas? Like that sounds like some type of coup or something, you know, like.
well, that's what I felt like. It's like these two
Yeah.
people, and it was my freaking birthday at my house, and I have the right, and they had to leave, and it's my family, and I'm like, you don't come to my place and insult me or my guests. And anyway, let me read the rest of this. It says, it's still in reverse. Okay, so
Yeah.
it says this individual may be leveraging guilt to get what they want and shifting blame on others when things go wrong. This otherwise well-intentioned person may be struggling to maintain a sense of self, relying heavily on the approval of others, laying the groundwork for potentially toxic relationships. So I got rid of those toxic relationships and I posted a meme the other day saying, once I shut down my sex kitten altar, 3/4 of my problems were gone. Why? Because you don't need to smoke, you don't need to drink, you don't need to go to the club, you don't need to get drunk, you don't need to, you know what I'm saying? X, you know, and like you say in Spanish, like, gosh, the toxicity of wanting to belong. And once I cut that off, boom. And then I realized the people that are not good for you, shoot, I had to call Power Lady that day. I was devastated, crying, because I'm like, they did it again. You know, and now it's like, that's it. No more. No more being with this group. No more helping these people. No more. And she always would tell me, huh, Power Lady, one day you're going to see that you don't need to help them. And that helped me a lot.
I do. I have my son, his family, and whatever holidays or anything would come up, I would be the one to make sure everyone was contacted, you know, to know about this or whatever was going on. And that was me. But not everybody is like me, because I will go, well, where is so and so? Oh, I didn't invite them. I said, well, why? That's, you know, that's my son. Oh, I forgot. I said, how did you forget to invite my son to the party? Oh, well, so I had to look beyond that, and I hate to be that person, to do things, as a reaction to something someone else done. But after a while of allowing things like to have to, well, you know what? I'm not going to let this happen again. You won't see me, you have to. It just, I just had a lot of revelations, reference my sisters and other people during these past 3 years. And it may have been a lockup, lockdown, but it gave people private time to find out a lot of things and do that go within thing, because I found out a lot of things, secrets that were kept from me because they knew how I was, so to speak, straightforward and call it as it is. Not everybody wants that or can handle that. So it was an eye-opener in these past 3 years.
Yep. We lost a lot of people we would have called friends, longtime friends, close people, realized so much about our families. And it's just, I think it's been an incredible journey. And ultimately, what does it do? It brings us closer. Do you see? Ultimately, it brings us closer to
how cute, I have to say. Hi.
Oh, hi.
You did such a good job.
I hardly saw you.
She's horrible. Fast. She's fast too.
Don't worry.
oh dear.
Oh, Lola. Look,
What
somebody
was your
else
thought? What was your thought?
Did I lose my thought? Sorry. Just that we've, I think it was, I think the first year is when we lost the most people. And then, once we like thinned it out, the second year you lost some more stragglers. And then the third year, definitely people from the first year never came back. Some people from the second year were kind of like, okay, I was a little harsh, but
I was a little harsh. Let's go to the buffet.
Yeah, let's go to the buffet and have some lobster and crab.
Dude, give me more than $10 to spend on that machine.
I'll tell you what I did realize though at the time when I looked around and people really let it out of their mouth, because to me it was a little bit more than that too, because we had some public disruption going on, right? People being physically hurt and protesting and things like that, and it allowed me to see why my business was not successful, because I saw the mindset of people and I thought, oh, no wonder my business isn't successful. I was doing business with some people who I think they themselves to be a bit condescending in a way, as if doing business with me is a favor. And they're like, yes, Erica. Yeah. And I'm being funny, but it was like, oh wow, like I didn't think that you thought that way. Like, here's an example. There was a guy who did a little interview where he was going up to people and he said, why don't more Black people vote? And then the people said, oh, because it's hard for them to get to the DMV and they can't get a driver's license. And they were saying things, and I was like, oh my God, y'all think Black people can't get to the DMV, y'all? like y'all really, like, they were like people who were, this would otherwise seem compassionate, but it's also like extremely condescending, that you really think that people are that dumb and that downtrodden and that not capable, that you think like, then that person literally feels sorry for me. When they're talking to me, I realized that there were certain people that I was working with, like, you feel sorry for me?
Or Erica, you can't make it to the DMV.
I was like, how the hell did I make it to the office? Like, what? I made it here, it was really strange. And that person took it upon themselves. They started a whole group dedicated to, I think, just listening to Black people complain. And I was just like, wow, you're the leader of the Blacks now? Like, wow, like I'm really confused. Like it was just like this extreme situation where the person, no, I was like, they don't need somebody to build a group for them to complain. We do a good job complaining all by ourselves. Like, we don't need you to be, I don't know what you call that word. What is that word? Like, I don't know what that word is. Like, what do you call that? It's a thing, though. It's a thing where people just, they're like, oh, poor Black person. Oh my God. And it's like, no.
Pity?
I guess it's pity. We'll think of it some other time. But I also saw, you know, some other business owners, and I thought, if
spokesperson,
something like that. But I
they're speaking for the group.
People being unreliable too. I just saw people kind of going with the crowd, and I'm like, yeah, but can we, as people, treat people with respect and dignity, and not let's not go places to cause problems. There you go. Like, say a person who walks up to a man in the store and you point a camera at him because he doesn't have on a mask, and you want to point, and I'm like, I can clearly see the print of his gun in his shirt, but if you want to have fun on Friday night and go walk up to people, random people in the mall or in the store, and do stuff like that, like, can we not do stuff to trigger other people? But if you're that afraid to be in the store, can you just go in there, get your shit, and go home, and not, you know?
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
You know, people breaking down fences and going in the neighborhoods that aren't theirs because that's a protest, and that's like, no, you're breaking and entering. That's illegal. Like, just stuff that people were doing was like so flamboyantly wrong. And then people were like, yeah. And I was like, no, no.
Well, that's where the hive mind of the Black goo that we were talking about earlier, where I'm better than thou, like I'm higher than you because I'm wearing a covering, you know? Same thing with me. I noticed recently too, it's like they didn't want to pay me because they said they didn't have money. And then they were trying to tell me what to do. Remember that person that we're talking about today, Power Lady? And then he was trying to tell another person on YouTube what to do about our community or whatever. And then I was joking with Power Lady and I said, man, they didn't even contribute nothing for my pain and suffering. So now I charge, baby. I'm like, nah, I'm not wasting my time no more because they just want to play games and I'm not interested. Wait, did somebody text me? Is it time to go?
It's about that time.
Time check. Yes, Miss Power Lady, it's about to go.
People got our message.
As you see, I've got to feed someone. She's crawling into the kitchen.
I know. It's
a little sweetie.
Oh, she's adorable.
Yeah,
well,
my son would have had 6 yogurts and a granola.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for being on. These are our issues that I like to tackle because that's what I think about. I think about all the hard stuff when I can't sleep, or even I just think about all the issues of Earth and I'm like, why the hell am I here? But we are here to keep others motivated and happy, and we are warriors, and we will get through this. And we are
not bypass anything,
Yeah,
but
we gotta scope everything out, you know. So if you don't mind, we'll start with Miss Power Lady, then First Lady Erica, and then Chastity. How can people get a hold of you or message you? Thank you.
Let's see. You can on YouTube, Power Lady, PWRLADY, or Instagram, Super Soldier Lady Talk. And email me at powerlady3@gmail.com.
All right. The First Lady Erica @gmail.com. And you can go to my link tree and / the First Lady Erica. And that's THE1ST. Lady Erica with a K, spelled the right way, y'all.
Yes, that's me. You can find me at at I Am Chastity Ann on Instagram or Facebook, as well as YouTube. And my website is Alchemy of Sophia, one word, alchemyofsophia.com. And yeah, that's that. Veronica.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Veronica Bartolini. You can do the Linktree / Codebreaker Real Talk or Google Veronica Bartolini. And please check out my playlist because a lot of old videos are there when I was with Soma Fusion Mind, Body, and Soul. And I do readings and all kinds of stuff. And I love you all. And thank you for being on. See you later.
Thank you.
Make sure you hit the right button, Veronica.
I'm trying. It says end meeting for all or leave meeting. And that's all. And if I end the meeting, then I don't see you guys no more. And if I leave the meeting, then I leave. I don't get it.
No, you need to hit stop recording.
Hit
Oh, that's
stop
right.